Hi guys, so my surgery got cancelled. Good morning everyone. So today is surgery day. For those who have been following this sort of journey and channel will know that obviously I've had a boob issue for almost 5 weeks now. For those of you who haven't watched the channel before, I'm basically just going to be vlogging the day of surgery. So it's not just a normal boob job or breast augmentation. It is going to be an exchange. So it's going to be a capsulectomy and an exchange, hopefully. I still don't actually have the results back from the test I had done to see if I have an infection. We've been waiting since Wednesday and nothing so far. So I really kind of wanted to know that result before having surgery today, because if I have an infection, it means they cannot put breast implants back in, new ones in. I will literally, sorry, my alarm went off. I will literally have mine taken out and they would have to stay out for 6 months, but touch wood, that is not the case. Hopefully I don't have an infection. My surgeon and the GPs I've been dealing with have all said that they think I'd be more ill if I had an actual infection, and there'd be red on my breasts and other signs. So my boob has been hot, I have been a bit poorly, no appetite and having night sweats, but hopefully that's just because obviously something's going on in my body and it's not because of an infection. So as you can see, even in this very tight sports bra, after I had the draining a few days ago on Friday, obviously it's already swelled right back up. Maybe I'll pop in a picture here for you from after the draining and then maybe yesterday or a picture of today. So yeah, back up as expected. But sorry, I've got a sore throat, but it's probably because I went to a Backstreet Boys concert last night and was screaming so loud. It was so good though. So yeah, it is 9:45 and you have to stop eating 6 hours before your entry time. My entry time is 4 p.m, so I can have breakfast, but I can't eat after 10 a.m, so I have 15 minutes to eat, and then I can't eat for the rest of the day. And then with fluids, I can drink clear fluids up to 2 hours before entry time, so up until 2 p.m. I can drink. So let me quickly get my breakfast organised and ready. I'll show you what it is and then catch up with you in a sec. So there we have it, my typical breakfast of oats and whey and berries. So yeah, I'm gonna get on and eat that now because I've got 9 minutes left. And I guess I will let you know what I pack for surgery day and the bag I prepare for taking to my mum's, because my boyfriend works obviously and I need to be looked after for at least a few days, so I'm going to stay at my mum's. It is the next day, so it is now Tuesday, and to be honest, I spent the rest of yesterday just feeling utterly exhausted, both physically and mentally. Preparing yourself for surgery and not knowing kind of what the outcome is going to be is pretty stressful. But then being on your way and then being told the surgery is not going to happen, I had an absolute meltdown, and I think quite rightly. So let's just rewind. The last video, obviously I explained everything that happened with the NHS and then also with my private plastic surgeon and the plan for yesterday. which would have been Monday, surgery day. We were waiting on the aspiration results that my plastic surgeon did privately, that I would have to pay for because the NHS messed up the testing, didn't do the sort of testing we needed to know whether I have BIA LCL, whether I have an infection. The results I got back didn't indicate or basically tell us either of those two very, very important things. So obviously, as mentioned in my previous video, I don't want to repeat myself too much. Obviously, the NHS had me back in on the Friday and took new aspirations and intended to send them off properly this time for BIA ALCL testing and I suppose microbiology it's called, to make sure there's no infection. Obviously we knew we would not have those results by Monday, hence why my surgeon decided it would be a good idea for me to pay to get testing done privately on the Wednesday, so we knew what we were dealing with come Monday. Now, we weren't going to test for BIA ALCL because he said he was pretty certain I just don't have that, and the cost of that test would be ridiculous, and we know we're going to get that result at some point from the NHS, even if it's after surgery. But he really wanted to know if I had an infection or not, because that changes the surgery. If I have an infection, the breast implants need to be removed and they need to stay out, and they would need to stay out for around 6 months. Now, he said we would have the results within 48 hours. Obviously, we did it on a Wednesday, should have them by Friday, Saturday, absolute latest, Monday morning. Well, didn't get the results to say whether or not I had an infection. I was obviously messaging back and forth with him and his receptionist and his team, are the results in, are the results in? Nope, unfortunately not. Nope, unfortunately not. So it comes to Saturday and they're still not in. So I'm there thinking, right, well, no one's working Sunday, so this is now just going to be Monday morning, day of the surgery, see what happens. Now, my surgery time got changed on Saturday. They changed it from 12:30 admission to a 4 p.m. admission, which is quite late really, given that you then have surgery an hour later. So I'd have surgery at 5, be in surgery for around an hour and a half, and then you have to wait 3 hours until you're allowed to go home. So that's pretty late. It's like 9:30, 10 p.m. and it's like 2 hours away in central London. So the surgery time had been changed, and I thought, well, at least, we'll have those results Monday morning, and I'd like to be able to go into surgery knowing what the outcome's going to be. Like, I really don't want to be having surgery and then waking up like, surprise, you've got no boobs. I don't really know what that would do to my head, but it would kind of be nice to know before going under what is actually going to be happening. Now, no results. I messaged on the Monday, any results? Got an email, no results yet. So I was like, right, I'm going into surgery having no idea whether I'm going to have breast implants put back in or whether I'm going to be left without any. That's quite daunting. That's quite scary. And unfortunately, you're not allowed to have friends or family go in with you. So you got to do it all alone. Now, I know obviously there's a team there that would be very supportive, etc., which is great. But, they aren't your friends and family, are they? So it was quite a stressful morning. Packed all my bag, got everything organised. My boyfriend had booked the day off of work. My mum was organising her front room for me to sleep in, because you need to be looked after for a good week post-op. And obviously my boyfriend works full-time, so he wouldn't be able to look after me during the day. So we had all this sort of planned. Got to the train station, as obviously I would just get the train there, and then my boyfriend would pick me up in his car. And as I was stepping onto the train to go, I got a phone call basically saying, we're not going to proceed with surgery because we don't have the results. So I was like, right, so I'd already got on the train. I'm like, am I getting on the train or not? And it was a bit like umming and ahhing. Yeah, we'd still like to see you. And I'm like, I'm not coming all the way to London. I've got a one-way ticket. I'm not having someone come all the way and pick me up if I'm not having surgery. So I got on the train, spoke to my boyfriend. He's like, get off at the next stop. I'll pick you up at the next stop and let's take you home. And I just had an absolute meltdown, just burst into tears. And I just felt really let down, to be honest. I already feel massively let down by the NHS. But I felt like I still had good support from my private plastic surgeon. But to be totally honest, I just felt let down by everybody at this point yesterday. It's just, you know, I'd fasted, not drunk anything in prep for the surgery. You know, it's a lot to get your head round, and then it's not happening. It's just like, what is going on? And basically, apparently it's, you know, the lab's fault. The lab should have had the results by now. And then to top it off, obviously, if the lab is saying it's still going to be 2 or 3 days, in theory, when they test my sample, it's probably going to be no good. It needs to be a fresher sample. So no matter what, I had to go back in to have another aspiration taken so that can be sent for testing. It just feels like a comedy of errors. It feels like it's just one thing after another, and I am now starting to really struggle to cope. You know, I keep smiling, keep positive, keep pushing on, but it's been 5 weeks now, 5 weeks today, since my boob just, you know, woke up and it was huge. And just, we're no closer to knowing what is happening. And just everybody seems, I'm afraid, so incompetent. I don't understand why no one can just do their job. That's where I'm really struggling to, how are so many mistakes being made constantly? How am I still, after going back and forth so many times to the hospital, speaking to the doctor, going to the private clinic, how am I still in the exact same place as I was 5 weeks ago? Mind blown. Obviously I've done enough crying and had a lot of frustration, and yesterday I ended up, once I got home, I just slept for a big chunk of the afternoon, well, it was evening, woke up for a bit and then slept all night, slept quite long this morning, and then my plastic surgeon wanted to see me today to take that aspiration to send off testing, and I really didn't want to go. I really just was like, I've had enough. I don't want to keep travelling back and forth. It takes me 2 hours to get there. I paid for my train ticket yesterday, which cost me £27.50 for nothing. You know, all this fuel, all this just energy, time, everything is just wasted. So I really just didn't feel in the mood, didn't feel up for going today. He spoke to me on the phone, obviously explained, you know, that the lab have made a serious error here for whatever reason, and how we really need to get, you know, more fluid, get it tested, so then we can proceed with surgery. So I begrudgingly went up there today. It took me 2 hours to get there. He's done another aspiration. I've obviously expressed my feelings with everything. And he said, you know, he's going to now test for BIA ALCL as well. He wants to just get that done as well, because I think we're all losing a little bit of hope in the tests coming back from the Maidstone Hospital. So in theory, we will get results in a few days to see if I have an infection or if I have BIA ALCL. Once we know that, then we can actually proceed with surgery, potentially next Monday. I am not holding my breath, I'll be honest. I am just, I don't even know how I feel about it anymore. I'm just so done. I've had enough. I feel exhausted, like actually exhausted. Like I feel like I could cry right now, but I don't want to cry on YouTube. It's just a waste of my energy. But I feel really disappointed, really let down, really frustrated. And yeah, that's just basically a summary, and I've waffled on now for over 10 minutes, so I'm going to sort of cut it off there. But yeah, I understand not proceeding with surgery without having certain results. I'm absolutely fine with that, but it's just being left to get on a train to come all the way in to then be told. I just think things could have been handled differently, but there we go. So that's just my update. I wish I had more information, better news, you know, but I don't. Still in the same place as we were. But
appreciate the people tuning in to watch these videos and catch up on everything, and the people who wished me good luck and stuff for surgery yesterday. Yeah, so we push on as always, we keep going, and we hope that we get some kind of result this week. So keep your fingers crossed for me, I'll keep my own fingers crossed, and we'll take it from there. Catch you next time.